As this year comes to an end, I have had the opportunity to reflect on this first semester of college. I have come to realize how much of this fall I've spent in the car. Those that know me well understand how much I enjoy being on the move and driving. For this reason, I am choosing to remember the past few months in relation to the drives that I have taken. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I made this drive to the International Rescue Committee, where I was an intern as part of my Intro to Social Work class. Most mornings I was up before the sun, but I loved these rides to and from the office. The IRC is a not-for-profit organization that offers humanitarian aid to refugees and asylees. There are nearly 30 locations in the United States that are devoted to resettling people that have experienced this devastating loss of home. I worked as an intern at the immigration office where I was able to use my strength of connectedness to see the relationship between different global events and how it relates to me. Because of this experience, I have become more interested in pursuing a macro practice of social work in law and policy. I hope to become an instrument of global change. As Emma Lazarus wrote in the New Colossus, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, the tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." Another road that I traveled this semester was to Caprock Canyon State Park. I have loved getting to know the freshmen of HTT this semester. Over the course of the next 4 years, we will be doing lots of traveling together, but we wanted to get a head start before our fall trip to Big Bend. At Caprock, we had a weekend full of encouragement and fellowship, two of my biggest priorities for this semester. This was a trip that I was able to see the way in which every person had a specific role in our group. This was also the trip that Todd was given the nickname Boots as he tried to hike 6 miles in cowboy boots and blue jeans. I joined a few friends in sleeping in hammocks, united with the beautiful blanket of stars. I was reminded here that my spiritual pathway is spending time in creation. During one of our nights there, we had a time of worship, and the song Pieces by Stephanie Getzinger was one of the songs we sang together. When I think of Caprock, this is what seems to me to be the theme song of our trip. It wasn't long before returning from Caprock until we went to my first national park, Big Bend. I joined the early group in going to set up camp, and I was thankful that our drive was done in the daytime. About an hour of it was spent through the park on our way to the Cottonwood campsites. On this drive, we were surrounded by Texas mountains and basins. It was here that I remembered Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem, where he said to the Pharisees, "If my disciples remain silent in praise, the rocks will cry out to me." That week, I vowed to sing louder praise than the rocks. Before leaving for Big Bend, we talked about relationships and what it meant to live in a community of humility and adoration. We prayed that we would learn more and more what it meant to live as spirits, punctuating our lives' happenings with hallelujahs. The time that it was easiest for me to forget about my flesh was during our hike in the Jesus Basin. Shortly after our hike, I wrote, "At the valley of the canyon, I was confronted by the great presence of lively butterflies. It wasn't until our return trip that I realized why the butterflies were there. At the valley, in difficult times, in tight spaces, is where the change happens. In the canopy of trees, there is rest and shade. It is peaceful. This is a safe place to be reborn." Never had there been a sweeter smelling valley. During the rest of my semester, I tried to remember this, doing my best to be mindful that I, and those that I love around me, are sometimes in the valley undergoing transformations. Another priority of mine this semester was to maintain healthy and intentional relationships with my family and friends back home. Knowing that I was going to be separated from one of my best friends in Austin, Texas, we bought concert tickets this summer to some of our favorite bands. Twice this semester, I made the trip home to visit my family and to go see concerts with my friends from high school. Though the ride home was always an exciting one that I was eager to make, the trip back to Abilene was a little bit difficult in the beginning. I miss my family and friends very deeply, but I know the Lord is faithful to take care of them.
You never gave a damn about me. I know your body. Oh, the appearance I miss you.
These videos were from some of the longer roads I drove this semester. Some were shorter and taken more often. Hannah, are you doing okay?
Yeah, just sometimes it hurts.
What encouraged you to do this?
A trip to Walmart.
For some unknown reason, it was necessary to take countless trips to Walmart this fall. I enjoyed these rides not because of Ambler, but because of the jam sessions that we never failed to have on the way there.
We were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat? It ain't the speakers that bump hearts, it's our hearts that make the beat. Lean with it, rock with it, when we gonna stop with it? Lyrics that mean nothing, we were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat? It ain't the speakers that bump hearts, it's our hearts that make the beat. Lean with it, rock.
In the beginning of the semester, when we went to Walmart, it was usually to purchase carrots and hummus. When we intervened and Katie stopped eating carrots, though, we started to buy grapes, often, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week. This drive was one we made very often, and because of that, I learned to show much grace to Abilenian drivers. There were some roads that were a little less predictable than others. Included are the many night drives I took through the city. Driving around at night has always had a special place in my heart. Sometimes I listen to my favorite albums, and other times I just sit in silence. There were nights that I used this time and space to pray and understand my own heart and the heart of others. On these drives, I became more and more aware of my gift of compassion and the ability to be connected with my friends and family on a deep spiritual level. These darkened roads were the most important to me this semester because they were so personal. Each time that I returned back to campus, I would feel very refreshed, as if every stoplight were a checkpoint, and I was entering a new, further rest. I have enjoyed being on the move and having such a full semester. I am confident that I have grown and am better because of the places I have been and the people that I've shared these experiences with.
This is a little free library. They have these all over the place, and I'm so excited that I found one. I was driving down the road, and I said, and then Katie was like, what happened? She probably thought we ran over someone. But I'm gonna take a book. I'll leave one later.
I thought she saw a body on the side of the road, or we were about to get murdered, or we were getting pulled over. Which all three are about equivalent in my book, so. Here's Miranda in her ecstasy. Anything good in there? Hello? Are there good things? Hello? Okay. Okay.
Learning to walk in the dark.
Scene.
It's filming. Hello, Dean. If this part accidentally gets put in our film, we're sorry. Kind of.